Welcome back, welcome back. If you are just joining me in this podcast series, I am Esoteric Nomad, and basically, I got some shit to say. Basically wanted to make a podcast where it's like we're hanging out together. We're just chilling, we're shooting the shit. And in that, just sharing stories, hopefully to uplift one another, hopefully to allow for new perspective, because we all could use some fresh perspective on some things, always. I welcome new perspectives. Hopefully my stories can be a new perspective for things that you might be going through, vice versa. I'm here for it. So join me. Strap in, put on your headphones, whatever you gotta do. We're gonna talk about some shit. So today, the topic that I was thinking of is boundaries. Yay! So I am a water sign, and I bring this up for my fellow astrologers out there who might be privy to what this might mean, and it might give you a little backstory. Now, I don't believe that we all adhere to every trait that each sign represents. Absolutely not. However, there are some similarities and some symptoms that, some signs, we can't escape it, people. We can't. Like, as a Cancer, I am emotional. I may not be emotional in the sense that people might immediately perceive, like, oh, you just boo-hooing and crying and sensitive. No. That's a common misconception. But stuff like that. Everybody knows a sign that they're like, well, I'm sure you've dated somebody that didn't go well in the past, and you just swore off that sign for life if you are into astrology. That was me at one point in life. Anyway, as I was saying, I am a Cancer, and we are very giving people. We are very loving. I love to give. I love love. I genuinely do. I consider myself to love loving unconditionally, meaning I don't want anything back from it. I don't. Now, this is where boundaries come into play, because as a water sign, when I was growing up and, first into my spiritual awakening, I'm having all these realizations. I'm learning things about myself that I'd rather not know, and everything was just being stripped raw. I was not privy to boundaries at all. I had no idea what boundaries were, really. I had not practiced any boundaries, aside from just saying, no, I'm full, I don't want any more to eat. Like, that was the extent of my boundaries. Pretty much. And like I said, I bring up water signs because I know we love to give, we love to love, we love to see those around us happy and doing well and succeeding and flourishing. And if we can be a part of that, even better. Like, it's great. We really just love to love. And so in that, it's been tricky for me, growing up and throughout my spiritual awakening, to recognize where I need to set boundaries in play. And now, when it comes to learning lessons, I believe that there's fresh layers that you pull back as you progress along your spiritual evolution, along your life path, and all of that. I used to believe that there was a point that you could get to where you just learned something. Like, there was no more to learn. Like, in a sense, like a math formula. Like, once you learn how to do this formula, you can do every problem. You don't have to relearn the formula because you know the formula. Like, I had a very, rudimentary sort of logic-based view of learning lessons, that, like, that's all you have to do. Once you learn it, you learn it. Oh, was I in for a treat? That is not what it is. In fact, people, if you did not know, once you learn something, yes, you've learned it. However, there are so many, I'd say infinite, facets to that same lesson that you will be presented with along your path, just to help you grow and evolve as a person, to help you understand new parts about yourself, understand other people better, all of that. And so in that, and setting boundaries, it has evolved for me greatly. And most recently, it's gotten to the stage where I am making boundaries for myself, simply, like, I'm at the point where I can acknowledge at some times when enough is enough for me, and when I have to put up a boundary, regardless of what another person thinks, regardless of how another person feels, regardless of, oh, well, what is this for? Like, this doesn't make any sense. I have no reason to. Putting up a boundary just because I feel like it, because something in my spirit is prompting me to do so. Those types of boundaries. The types of boundaries that aren't really understood by other people necessarily, barely understood by myself, except for I know I have a feeling and I'm going to try to acknowledge and honor that feeling, and it's usually steered me right. So in that, I recently had to set up a boundary. I'm going to see a friend, and recently had been helping them out with car rides. We live in the same place. There was no reason for me to say, no, you cannot use my vehicle. There was no reason, because my life pretty much consisted of work and home, and when I'm at home, I'm usually getting all my stuff done before I get home, so I don't need to go back out. Usually, the car was available quite a bit. And so in this, to anyone else, well, yeah, why can't you use the car? It's just sitting there. It's just available. I mean, that was my reason for allowing it to begin with, is, oh, I'm not using it. Well, sure. However, there comes a time, many times, actually, in life where you really have to think about if things are, I'm going to say this, if you have to think about if they're a two-way street. And I put it that way because as water signs, as people in general, we can pour into another person, another circumstance, another situation, just give and give and give and give and give, expecting without even knowing that same in return. So for one, I had to lose the expectations. That was the first step in my journey, is releasing the expectations, because just because I'm at a level where I am going to give for this reason does not mean the person, the recipient, is at that same level and they're willing to just give in the same manner that I am, or to even recognize what I'm doing, the extent of what I'm doing, and to appreciate it. We've got to stop expecting people to just know where we're at. Really, we really do. And so when I dropped the expectations, for the most part, it came to the point of, does this feel good with me? And this is of great importance for me, because I often overanalyze things, and I can think my way in or out of anything if you give me enough time. And so with this, I'm going to say, with this friend, there had been a certain history of, not the nicest things being said about me. And I'm going to leave it at that. It took me a while to release my need for external validation from other people. And once I got over that, I still had this feeling of, now, once I've released that, I don't necessarily care what other people say about me, what I feel about me, what I say about me. That's the most true. Once I got over what other people say about me, it just came down to, now, this is what I still struggle with. If I don't care what other people think about me, then that sort of opens me up to give and give and give and give even more, because at this point I'm being the bigger person. I'm reacting out of a place of love, which I feel like is my main motto and creed, is to lead from a place of love, always. And so if I can do that, I'm always hoping that can help maybe teach or guide or assist someone else, because most people, when you treat them a certain, in a negative way, they're either going to respond in a negative way, or they're just going to just ghost you. They're not going to even give it the time. Now me, when I respond with continuous love, I struggle with this sometimes, because this is, like I said, this is my creed. This is what I go by. However, I'm finding that for my own, because I am not at a level where I'm not at the level where I say sources, where I love despite everything. No, I still have an ego. I still have my moments. I wish a bitch would, all of this. It still comes. So with that, I have to be careful, and I have to guard my emotions and my thoughts, because I will keep giving, and I will keep giving, and I will keep giving, because I know it's the right thing to do. However, at some point you have to recognize, whether it's your higher self, whether it's source, spirit, whatever you believe in, whether it's your own intuition telling you, this person might need to learn a lesson by me not giving. Now, this is a new concept for me, that someone might learn a lesson from me pulling back, from me being perceived in their eyes to be, all things negative. Oh, they're ghosting me. Oh, well, just a bad person. That might be part of their lesson. And who am I to get in the way of that? Because, I don't want to get in the way of it. I don't. There's plenty of times along my journey where people put up boundaries with me. People did things I didn't understand, and I didn't always understand it, but I accepted it. It's not always easy to accept either.